Hello everyone, and welcome to Jumperman Tech, where we specialize in HVAC but do everything DIY. And today we have a weekend emergency service call for an LG multi-V system. Thank you to everyone tuning to Jumperman Tech. We are here in New York City. It is Saturday, almost evening. Sun's look like it's about to go down. It's a bit late, so already after 6 p.m. We have an emergency service call for an LG multi-V4 system. They mentioned that 6 West is down, nothing's running, and I can see the disconnect. They actually flipped it off. All right, took off the front panel. Power's currently off, so we don't see any error codes through here, but they mentioned we got a CH75, some kind of fan error. So that's gonna be something with our condenser fan motor, which is the one up here. Some kind of miscommunication. We'll check that out. So let's just get this off and do a little inspection, see if there's anything visual that we see. Let's see what's going on. I see some water here. I hope that's water. It was raining earlier. I believe that's water. It looks like water. Our fan board is over there. It actually looks a little rusted out. We're gonna have to open this up. So we got boards behind these boards. What a mess. I don't know why they make it so difficult to work, but anyways, let's go ahead and pull this apart so you guys can see how this is done. So I'm gonna just pull this out a little bit. Sometimes I even have a second person just holding this so the thing doesn't collapse on the wiring. So I got some wires, got 4, excuse me. We have 4 screws on each corner. Also, you might want to disconnect this over here to free this up. This is our converter board. I really want to get back there and check that fan board because that's where the error is coming from. I want to show you what it says on the LG HVAC service-business app and also through the manual. So let's use a screwdriver to take those out. I actually have one here. From last time, let's see, actually I should have another one too. Using the Vito Pro Pack Tech MC. Alright, flathead, good for 600 volts. Let's do this with a screwdriver so we don't lose anything. If you are working on something like this, you're gonna turn off the power and you're gonna want to give it some time so everything de-energizes inside. To be safe, I'd say 15 minutes. So they shut this unit down a while ago. We should be good. I'm alone today and I'm hoping for some good news. So taking off the screws that hold the 3 wires together, the white, red, and black, and I'm putting the screws back in its place because you don't want to lose that. All right, that should be good. Now take off the remaining 2 screws. I keep one on the, actually, you know what? I'm gonna keep 1 screw here. I don't have a helper today to hold me back. And then kind of lift this off, push this out. Our fan board is here. It does look rusted out. There might be a little burn on this, to be honest. Oh yeah, I see a little something. I'll take some pictures so you guys can see. So it's regarding some kind of CT sensor failed. Let's see where that is. Let's put something in it in this place. I usually take this light and kind of just like hold this here just to keep it open. And let's take some pictures so you guys can see. But yeah, it could be some sort of CT sensor, which I think is this little piece in the back here. Let's see what we see. Right now I'm using the LG HVAC service business app. You really need this. So CH75, it says error title, outdoor unit fan CT sensor error. Cause of error, outdoor unit fan CT sensor short or open. We go into detail. So error type fan CT sensor. Error point, my comms offset of fan motor phase current is not standard value, whatever that means. Main reasons: number one, input voltage is abnormal, 15 volts. Number two, you got a fan PCB assembly defect, so maybe you're not getting 15 volts. Your fan motor might be defective. Your power wire is open and connecting fault. Okay. Number four, inverter PCB assembly can be bad as well. I see some stains on the board. The little capacitors in there look bad. Something looks a little burnt, possibly some water damage in there. CT sensor apparently could have an issue with that. So that's your fan board down there, and then this right here is your inverter board. And I actually changed this compressor on here. This thing failed in the past. That's always fun. And the only thing is, it shows right here, check DC input power. The 15 volts is actually a different board, but I do see right there it says 15V. Let's see what each thing says on the board so we know what's what. I know the fan motor itself is connected on this red plug, right? Let's see, that's this thing. Yeah, that's the red plug. That's the fan motor itself. There's some white thing here. There's a fuse. Might want to check that as well. And it says check for 15 volts power, but man, to check this live like this, that's freaking dangerous, man. I don't like the idea of that. You got to put these wires back and start it and see what's going on. And then also, as far as, let's see, it says in case the value is more than 100 kilo ohms, it's open, or less than 100 ohms, it's shorted. I think the CT sensor itself, there's this little piece back here. Looks like a little rectangular piece. Where is that? Where is that connected to? Right here, this little clip. There's two wires, and it goes to this little white wire here. I don't know. What does it say? I think it says that's a little heat sink. And then to the right over here it says INV com. So it's all right. So you should have communicate. I see this fan board gets wired directly to this inverter board, and I guess that's where it gets its communication. That board looks bad, man, without even testing anything. Let's see, those two wires there on the blue. So what is that? Oh, you see that blue 15 volts also comes from the inverter board, and on the inverter board it says CN fan, connection fan, huh? So yeah, those are definitely working together. Those are definitely working together. That's why they say it could be also, if the inverter board is bad. If it's not getting 15 volts, then I guess the inverter board is bad. All right, outside here we have a diagram of all the outdoors, all these boards. It says it's a CN heatsink, some sort of heat sink. Okay, and then some kind of CN INV, but that's, I don't know what CN is. That connector, connection, I don't know, but basically everything, it shows that there's, if it starts with CN, so CN INV com, so that's your communication from your inverter board all the way on the left. You can't see it, then it goes to here, from here it goes to here. So it says CN fan. So we got 4 wires, 2 going to the com, and then 2 wires coming down from here to here, CN 15 volts. Okay, oh, that's what it says right there, the some kind of MICOM issue. So to the right it to the right of the connector over there, the little white thing, you guys can see there is no connection there. There is no connection there. So how can you have the error? So all right, so communication, this is the heat sink, and then another one 15 volts. So 15 volts from here goes to there, and then communication from the inverter board to the fan board goes to this blue connector. The white connector is that heat sink. The red connector is our fan, and then the white connector, what is that? CN-DC link. So that's coming from your converter board. Why did they make this thing so complicated? Who knows? What a mess. So CT sensor, I don't see any sensors here, but that board looks shut. It's kind of a ridiculous design to check for 15 volts when the 15 volts is here on this blue connector, and it comes from here. And then we gotta put these 3 wires back. Look at this bunch, I don't know. It's kind of tight to go in here with all these crazy voltages, especially DC voltage. You don't want to play with that. I'm not one to just replace parts like a part swapper. You guys know I really do my due diligence for everything, and I pay attention to detail. But one thing I do see is those little burn or wet looking marks, and something could have definitely went bad here. Right now it is a hotel, so we got 6 rooms right now that our book has no air conditioning. Timing is definitely one of those things right now. It's blistering hot out here. Sun's coming down, but it's shining hard on me right now. So I'll try to do my due diligence. I'll see what's up with that Micom. I don't know. Thing is, it's not even on that connection's not on the board. So if anything, it's like built in the board, or it's not even here. So it could be an issue. The next thing could be the 15 volt issue, and that comes from the inverter board. They have inverter boards and fan boards in stock. It might be worth just swapping that out and getting them back up and running as soon as possible. I took off this little white connector with only 2 wires on it, and I see on the brown wire there's a fuse. If you follow that up, it actually goes to this board. This is the converter board. It says DC link fan. DC link. Let's make sure that fuse is not blown. One of the few checks we could probably do. Oh, there's my alarm for the meter. I got for the parking meter out here in New York City. Gotta pay that every hour. They go crazy. All right, checking continuity. Let's just check across the fuse and make sure we have continuity. Looks good to be like by eye. Fuse is not blown. That's a good sign. Let's close that. Come on, you can't barely get your hands in here. Let's make sure that's closed well. Now doesn't want to close. Come on. There we go. Heard that click. I'm just gonna put it back just so we know where everything goes. But as far as that Micom sensor, CT sensor, Micom here, it's not, nothing's even connected. Nothing's even connected. Oh boy. You know, they really give you some terrible instructions, man. It's like they force you to call LG themselves or one of their authorized representatives as far as companies who come out to service. If you look through the app, it might tell you one thing as far as checks, but when I call tech support, they email you a whole different checklist. On Saturday, there is no tech support. It does look a little burnt out. Maybe if we take it out, we could even look at it in the back, but there's really no good instructions. Basically, they want you to know if you're getting 15 volts. Might be better off just changing the inverter board with the fan board. and let's see what happens. I don't want to connect this to get my hands in here and get electrocuted checking for 15 volts when you got the 380 volt DC compressor going, and oh man, you don't want to deal with that. When we close this up, we could check to make sure that we are getting voltage through here, which could be 208 volts, who knows? I don't know. Let's just do our best. It's getting real hot in here, and the sun's about to set. It's about to get dark up here. You don't want to be up here when it's too dark. So, oh man, that was dusty. Let's go ahead and let's see what we can do, but I don't want to unroll this thing and put this together. Let's see, if I bring this a little closer, maybe from here, right there, where am I going to check 15 volts in there? That's just ridiculous. This whole setup is just ridiculous. Let's pull out that board, an inverter board, the fan board, the inverter board. Let's swap that out. I already had a feeling we were gonna change some boards, so I got this. It's got a funny name to it, Super Lube, but this is what they give you, like OEM. So this is silicone heat sink compound dielectric. So it says silicone based grease, specifically blended with thermally conductive fine metal oxide powers. Let's get some plastic gloves. Let's swap out these boards and see what's going on. All right guys, here's our fan board, and that's the inverter board. So right here, this blue connector says inverter comm, so it has to be the communication that goes to the inverter board right there. And then this one right here, CN 15 volts blue. On the manual it says something black, but it's got to be this 15 volts. And also to check to see if there's an LED, but there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4 LEDs here. Not exactly sure what each one represents. This right here is the fan motor itself. This right here is our DC link that goes up through the fuse, and our converter board. Right here it says MyCom, but nothing gets connected there. That is showing there's some kind of error there, so I wonder there's something there. This right here says CN flash writer, that's not connected. And that's about it, really. Let's go ahead, because I need to get some water. Let's go ahead and start with this fan board. So just gonna unclip some of these and be careful. And just make sure these two really, you don't mess those up. Mix those up. Okay. Hopefully this heat sink is okay, because it doesn't come with a heat sink. That's great. I'll pull that to the side. And we're gonna push this stuff to the side. It's pretty straightforward where that goes. And you can change it with the plastic, which might be a good idea, honestly. So in that case, we got 4 wires here. Excuse me, 4 screws for that whole piece. Is there a, oh, there's a heat sink behind here. You know what? Let's leave that. We're gonna change the board itself. That's what I've done in the past, because I feel like that heat sink is gonna come out. So let's just take out our 4 screws for the board itself. Okay, we're gonna start with that. Okay, and make sure you have each screw. So the 4 screws here I'm taking out, and there's 2 heat sinks behind here, so you're gonna wanna clean those up. Take out the old compound, wipe it off, and put in the new one. So it is very, very tight in here. Even to change this is like no joke. But let's do what we can while we got a little bit of light. I do have my portable light, but still, it gets real crazy in here. Maybe put that there so I can get to this one. Just one step at a time. So we got the 4 screws on the outside, and then where each heat sink is, there's 2 screws on each heat sink, and that is going to be here and here. So let's take that out. And let's see if we see something visually in the back, but in the front, looks like some stuff went bad. Some little resistors or capacitors, not sure what they are exactly, but those have seemed to fail. Let's see, I got a little magnet on here. Let's get that out. Be very careful with that. You're gonna want to use a screwdriver because these things trip very easily, and then you're just not gonna get that out, and you're just gonna be stuck, and it's gonna be a real problem. All right, so whoops, just gotta be real careful with this stuff. Might need a different, shorter connector. So if anything, loosen it with your screwdriver. You can pull out the rest with your drill if you want. Just be real careful with that. So let's take off these last two screws. All right, this is delicate work right here. All right, come on. One of them kind of fell in there. Can we get it out? That's great. All right, let's put this back. So start with this little fan board. And let's get this stuff out of here. Try to pull this out. There's these little tabs up top. Wonder maybe if I could reach it with this. Oh, there we go. We got it. There's a little tab there. Top. Push that up with this tab up top. I know there's not much to see, but there's these two tabs. You kind of just pick them up and pull this board out. Come on. One there and one there. Okay. This thing is about to come out. Oh yeah. So over here where there's issues, I can see issues back here. Also, if you look back here, some other issues, some other damage down there. It's probably just a bad board, bad fan board. Also damaged over here. I'll take some photos for you guys. But either way, we're gonna change both the inverter board and the converter board. So sometimes just looking at stuff helps. We look in here, behind there, there's like a bright aluminum looking thing. And then, oh God, to get in there, oh, we gotta crawl under there to get that light. Oh, that's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Anyways, I'm not gonna put any chemicals or anything on there. We're kind of just gonna wipe it off. And let's give ourselves a clean surface to work with. And it is what it is. Let's clean that up, get our light back, and get in that new board, because you can see the sun is already starting to set. So, and also we're gonna need that light. All right. That is a much cleaner surface, and let's go ahead and get our new board in. Just carefully taking off the 4 screws that are here, and the 2 tabs I was talking about was up here, so we're just gonna like lift that up and pull the board out. And that's basically what holds it in place at first. You know what? Yeah, let's take that out carefully. And what you're gonna want to do, let's keep this paper, plastic, and let's get our heatsink compound, super lube. And basically we're just gonna give it like a little dab. You don't want to put too much. So what I'm gonna do, because this thing's been sitting for a little while, let's pour out some. Maybe there's some water in there so it comes out clear. All right, that's good. And you're really just gonna put a little line on here, or even a dab. I like to just put a little line. And that's it. When you press it down, it'll expand and everything will be good. All right, and that's that. Got a screw on there, because you do like this, next thing you know, this whole thing is gonna rip down. So I keep a screw on there, or you need to come here with a helper and, you know, just get that in place. Let's pull these wires back a bit. Okay. You also want to check for loose wires at first, but with the board looking like that, it looks like it's time to go. So let's see, hold it in a good spot. Let's get it in there. All right, that looks good. And where the tab is, you can kind of just push that down or lift it up. That's in. That's in. I'm gonna press down over there. And what I'm gonna do is actually start with where the heat sink is. I'm not gonna put it too tight or anything like that. I'm just gonna get a little bit started. So I want all the screws to match. So you might get all of them in, next thing you know the other one doesn't fit. So you want this as even as possible, and if you have magnetic screwdrivers, make it happen. So put each one. All right, so just to get it started, and then we could just mount the rest and tighten everything up. And don't use a drill for this, you might damage something. You want to take out the old one with a drill, be my guest, but putting everything new, don't mess with that. Don't do that. Don't make that mistake. These boards are very expensive. You don't want to make a problem. Thank God they carry parts in stock here, as every building should, especially with equipment like this. All right, so those are in. Next, we're gonna use actually the new screws that came with this. They look like in better shape. And I'm just gonna start by mounting a couple of those screws. And I'm not gonna put any of them all fully in till the end. I'm just gonna get them started. And basically tightening it down is self-explanatory. So let's get them all started and then snug them. Don't go crazy. All right, hold the camera in the head so you guys can see. Got this connector here. Clip that in. Got this connector here. Oh, it's not. Messed that up again. And we got this connector here. Let's clip that in. These are pretty straightforward. All right. What else we got? Over here, it's our fan. Make sure that clips in good. This right here. The heat sink. Actually, just stuff that into the little holder. And that's pretty much the fan board there. We could change the inverter board. Might be okay, but since they're directly connected, I'll replace that as well. But I need to go get some water. Here's the next board. You can see just the coloring difference in this area. Everything is nice and clear. Over here we already got some dark marks, but I see that on everything. This thing is running hot. And look on here, you see that? That's this wire right here. Compressors are running hot, leaving it's like burn marks on here. So yeah, this thing's overheating. Let's get rid of it while they got it. It's getting dark out. Got the night lights already on this roof. All right, fan board is in. Let's do the inverter board. Got this little link connector. Press down on that and pull it out, holding the plastic piece of the connector. Never pull the wire. Okay. Try to just press this little clip down. Comes right out. Pretty self-explanatory as far as these. What's going on? Might even use like a little flathead to do it. Okay, that came right out. Now we got 3 wires up top and 2 wires here. So one is for your diode here. So we got a black here and a red here. I'm gonna take these off quick with my drill. So I wanna go home. Try not to strip all that. Okay. Phone going off constantly, of course. All right. Got those off, positive and negative. Okay. You don't want to go too crazy till you lose a screw. And take a picture if you don't know where this goes. Unfortunately, but fortunately, I've done this a few times, so I kind of know the gist. The only thing you can screw up, because everything else is color coded, is really the red wire. You don't want to mess up the red wire. Short one there for the long one up top. 3 wires up top over here actually go to your compressor, UVW. Okay, that lines up. Oh God, piece of my drill fell down there. Come on. All right, the rest we're doing by hand. All right, now the night light just came on, so what I'm gonna do is take off the 4 screws on the side of the inverter board itself, and then we can pull this thing out. Keep those screws and don't lose those. Let's get this in. Got 4 screws here. All right, hold on to that. And this board also has some clips, and you got to put on some heat sink compound. All right, so I got 4 screws holding the board, and then I got 2 screws holding the heat sink thing. So make sure you put the right screws back in its place. I got 1 more holding the heat sink. That one came right out. Let's hope this one does the same. Come on. Oh, it's my lucky day. That one is out. And then this board is also holding with some clips. Let's see the bottom. Push that little clip back, and this board is coming out. All right, that's it. The compound is left over there. Just gonna clean up the area and use clean compound, everything brand new. Here's the heat sink right on the board. Just gonna put a dab of this going across, and we're gonna be done. Okay. All right, gonna get this in here carefully. Watch the wires and get compound anywhere else. Okay. Try to get this to clip in. Things in my way. Looks good. Push that in. That's holding. And I'm gonna push in over there where the compound is a bit. Let's put in the screws, and just like I did the other one, as far as here, just gonna start this, make sure it lines up. That lines up. I'll do the same for the other screw where the compound is. Just make sure that lines up first. Very tight on anything right there. See if it stays in. Yep. And the 4 screws around the board. Make sure everything lines up, and then snug it up, and everything else is pretty much self-explanatory. So let's get the screws in. All right, just putting back these wires. It's a bit tight, but it is what it is. So just snugging them nicely. the screwdriver, just putting everything back the same way I found it, direct swap out. Got all those wires back, and as far as these, make sure you hear the click. Pretty self-explanatory. Alright, there you have it. Make sure all your connections are nice and tight. And that's how you got a new fan board and new inverter board. Okay, let's put this all back. All my connections are tight. And we're about to be ready to start this thing up in a few. Just gotta put these 3 wires back as well. Just make sure all your connections are tight. Hard to even see anything at this time. Come on. There we go. And we'll see what happens. Alright, I got the LG MV monitoring tool. And I got my tablet. This is where I had it connected through here on this board. I got the cover off. I know in most HVAC systems, if this cover is off, it's gonna affect your pressures, but surprisingly, it's not a thing. As you can see, the fan is running, and you can see this thing, suction line is sweating. That, you already know, is a beautiful thing. So, right here, got my tablet connected, and I'm watching what's going on. And this unit's running. Got 6 indoor units. You can see the first 3 are in cooling. Pipe in, all at 46 or 47 degrees. EEVs, either from 100 to 183 steps. So these units are cooling. You would see an error code come up here. We're just gonna monitor the data right now. But that was absolutely amazing. Electrical info shows here INV1 input CT at 14.2 amps. Then on the bottom it says INV1 phase CT current. I think that's a CT is a current transducer running at 22, so my meter would read 22, but apparently it's just our input at 14.2. But whatever, just looking at everything, and what's good is this unit's running. Let's just hope this unit stays on and doesn't trip. We got this unit running, and it is officially nighttime out here. It's nice to have these lights up here, but it is dark. It is dark outside. Today's my 6th day straight. I got a job to do tomorrow on Sunday, and I'm booked for the next 3 days with a schedule, and I got other work to do, so it's gonna be another 6 days on top of this. So 12 days straight, and I think in the last month I had 2 days off, but even then they weren't even really days off. I was doing work at home, so it just is what it is. But this really is amazing. All right guys, it's been running for the past half hour. Honestly, it's not shutting down. Got no error codes. It's looking all right. I think we're gonna end our night over here. It is definitely time to get to bed and go home. If anyone found this video interesting or helpful, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe as I come out with new videos every week. And I'll catch you all next time.